folks. How's it going? Welcome to What We Know Wednesday. So, what do we know this week? We know that aged Cascara bark, and it's important that it's aged, is really amazing for all things digestive health. But really, if you need to take a shit and you need to consistently be going to the bathroom, if you're constantly dealing with constipation, working in a small amount of cascara bark into your daily routine will probably change your life. Now, the interesting thing about cascara bark is she also has the capacity to help you deal with diarrhea if you're constantly going that way with it. Now, you wouldn't think something that people consider as a laxative would help regulate you in that way, but the truth is she works differently. These studies that I'm throwing on the screen somewhere talk about how the main compound in her, the main compound, amodin, which actually sounds like Imodium, and I think that's kind of ironic in a weird in my brain. But amodin is really fantastic for lowering stress hormones in your gut, and your gut and your brain are all connected, which is why these studies talk about depression and cortisol and things like that. But the truth is, when you have constipation or when you have chronic diarrhea, either way, it's almost always related to stress hormones in your gut. Of course, there's dietary issues, like you're not eating enough fiber, or you're eating too much fiber, or your foods aren't digesting well. It's not a one thing fixes all, but it is a big factor that people overlook in their physical gut health and their mental health, like what's going on in your gut. And what's going on is you're making a shit ton of cortisol and a ton of serotonin. Now, I know you think serotonin is a happy hormone, and we need it, we really do, but odds are good you're really high in serotonin and you're low in GABA and dopamine because they oppose each other, right? I talk about this all the time. I'm like a broken record sometimes, I swear to God. But I really like aged cascara bark for regulating gut health, for lowering stress hormones, for making sure that you're taking a shit at least once a day. Twice a day would be best, to slow down how often you're going if it's constantly just constant, if you have diarrhea or things like that. I mean, she really is all about poop. But also, she helps with mental health. She helps us deal with chronic stress. She helps us deal with sky high stress hormones. She helps get toxins out of our body, because when you aren't going to the bathroom, toxins aren't leaving your body. And toxins don't necessarily have to be environmental either, like your hormones and things like that. If they build up too much, they become a toxin, right? And I really like cascara bark for that. I would start with just one capsule on a day off to see how it affects you. And if it starts really making you go to the bathroom, don't be afraid, those effects will slow down. So if you take one and you shit your brains out and you're praying to God and you're like, I'll never do whatever again if you just stop this. That doesn't happen to everybody, but if it happens to you, know that you probably had a really high level of stress hormones in your gut, or an endotoxin load that your body is dumping, and it doesn't mean that it'll be that way every time. I really, really like cascara bark. Now, I keep saying aged. I've said it a few times. Age is important, because if you take fresh cascara bark that has not been aged, a lot of her properties will not have broken down, and then your stomach can't use them, and then not only will you shit, you'll have horrendous stomach cramps. So make sure that wherever you source it from, it is marketed as aged. Now, tea is okay. It doesn't taste great. I like capsules for this because you can you know how much you're getting. So that's cascara bark, and that's what we know. We know that she'll help us take a shit. So if you like my random videos, my talking about bodily functions and just being a general human, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. Sharing is important because it helps other people realize that just like you, that they are smart enough to do this too. And if you want to support my capacity to teach freely, consider checking out my shop by following the link in my bio or description. I run this thing called Wildwood Apothecary. It allows me to teach freely and all that kind of good stuff. And, thanks for being here with me, and I will see you next time, folks. Bye.